A few days ago, when news broke out that Facebook was in serious trouble, many people didn't believe it, saying that Facebook would just pay a few billions in lawsuits that it faces, and that's it. Well, as it turns out, the situation is more serious. Apple just implemented a giant change that completely collapsed Facebook. The company of Mark Zuckerberg lost its biggest weapon, access to user information. On one hand, Facebook already lost $10 billion, which is a giant hit for the company of Mark Zuckerberg, obviously, but more importantly, Facebook is losing capabilities to know what specific users are interested in and what to show them when they are scrolling through the feed. Furthermore, as we will show you, your data and information that Facebook had access to was weaponized for political gains. These problems got very bad for Facebook, and as a result, the company paid a giant fine to the Federal Trade Commission. The company of Mark Zuckerberg is in serious trouble, and it's stunning to think about it. But is this the end of Facebook? Well, let's discuss it in detail. For a rivalry that transcends generations, we know that Apple and Meta hardly ever want to leave the ring. Now, in the middle of the year, the gloves are off as Mark Zuckerberg is shooting his shot against Tim Cook's Apptract Transparency. After all, since Facebook lost billions of dollars at the hands of Apple, it's going to hurt. In the age of social media giants, our biggest enemy is the privacy-invading mechanisms that keep the firms loaded with money. They know everything about you, your prescription details, what your girlfriend wants on V-Day, and if you're dreaming about getting that house in the Hamptons. And oh, your Gmail inbox is filled with thousands of emails from sushi restaurants because you are curious to try it once. Other than being borderline creepy, many social media giants simply don't have clear-cut data protection policies. Sure, no one is reading their 64-page privacy agreement before hitting the sign up button. Guilty as charged. But then again, we have to ask the question, how far can these companies go with earning off your personal data? That's exactly where Apple comes into the light. Every year, Tim Cook rolls out a new iPhone in the market. On one side, the creative genius and the brand of exclusivity are why people line up at Apple stores to get their hands on the newest release. Yet, in May 2022, the tech company banked on its legacy of captivating advertisement when it announced its newest feature, Apptract Transparency. Yep, the same feature that's also known for the biggest problem for Facebook. A complete knockout, if you ask us. Now, ATT is at your disposal if you're using iOS 14.5 or above. As soon as you download the app, a pop-up appears on your iPhone and iPad where you can either allow the app to track your user activity across other apps or hit Ask App Not to Track. Here's the thing, that pop-up is a mere lip service from Apple to show that it gives its user an optimal choice. But in all fairness, if it comes between protecting your sensitive data or giving Mark Zuckerberg another insight to sell you slime on Facebook, the choice is pretty obvious. Not to mention, Apple's innovation was no less than earth-shattering. The ad that introduces ATT to 1 billion Apple devices is a statement of the year. In the ad, we see a girl named Ellie, whose user data, such as emails and drug prescriptions, is being auctioned off to a rich and elite audience, which, of course, is a shade at money-hoarding social media giants. Everything is up for grabs, her location data, her contacts, and even her late-night browsing history. All of a sudden, the audience and the auctioneers start to disappear. And you know what's up. Ellie is using Apple's mail privacy protection feature that effectively gatekeeps other apps to hover over your data to optimize tracking or advertisements. In fact, Apple is making a pretty bold statement for its users. The message is simple. Hey, you're not paying a dime to Meta to use Facebook, not because they're generous, it's because you are the product. Think about it. Every social media platform monetizes on their users and their app activity to give advertisements a perfectly curated profile of what they can or cannot sell to you. But once you download ATT on your iPhone, it's over for Facebook. Even after agreeing to the company's privacy policy, they aren't getting what they signed up for. And that's on Apple's privacy-focused marketing strategy. Oh, the last time we checked, Tim Cook wasn't sitting in front of Congress getting grilled on why his company is building a data warehouse. Thanks to this Apple update, Facebook faced almost a $10 billion loss in revenue just in the running year. Alright, that sounds like a bit of a stretch. But no. The company is very firm and transparent on how much revenue they're losing because of ATT's little maneuver. Is this the new face of Apple versus Meta tussle of the year? With the data we have so far, we predict that it's going to be a bloodbath. Mark Zuckerberg is pulling every string to tank ATT, and his first resort is a classic hit of the anti-competition laws. Even Apple was surprised when almost 37% of its users are now using ATT to crush the soul of data mining apps. Meta alone isn't going to look at a $10 billion loss, while it can't afford to lose more revenue if it doesn't adhere to Apple's data policies. On the other side, Tim Cook is the happiest man looking at the financials of the company. The value of first-party data is at an all-time high for Apple, and the App Store searches are generating more than $3.7 billion for the company. Have you ever heard of the saying that all that shines isn't gold? That stays true in this case because the tech giant's financials are everything Zuckerberg's lawyers need to amplify their anti-competition claims. Platform spiral for companies like Meta is a huge risk. In one snap, their ad revenue is up, and in another snap, their ad revenue is down. For a social media giant that has polished its business model on a targeted advertisement, their platform is actively blocking them to earn money. Of course, you can argue that Apple has a responsibility towards its users, but again, Meta's lost revenue at the expense of the ATT breakthrough is a solid cause for anti-competition. The bigger picture here is that Facebook can't deplatform itself from Apple because it might as well shoot itself in the foot with a rifle. And oh, as much as you love to flex an iPhone in your hand, you still need Meta to organize Hangout plans on WhatsApp. When it's all said and done, we're pretty sure Tim Cook wouldn't want to tank the company if Mark Zuckerberg one day wakes up and deletes Facebook from the App Store. It's true that social media platforms would cry over every dollar they lose to privacy laws. Yet, in Meta's case, the ATT bullet has cut deep and hollow. Does that mean Facebook won't try to sell you a car cleaning solution as you're scrolling through the memes at 2 a.m? Well, not exactly. The company is still running ads to target a more generalized audience, and you know what that means. The run-of-the-mill Facebook advertisement is about to become a lot more annoying and a lot less relevant. Now, that's a paradox that we didn't sign up for. If you are wondering why is Amazon outsourcing a car cleaning solution when you take a bus every single day, now you know why. Even then, the Meta algorithm will throw some contextual ads to your profile here and there. But as it doesn't have the capacity to track individual level activity, the revenue measurement across its platforms is going to be low. In all fairness, the devil works hard, but ATT works harder. It was a famous story how the Tesla CEO, Elon Musk, was the first one to call out Facebook on unfair privacy policies and suggested everyone to choose alternative messaging platforms. Basically, Elon Musk recommended to everyone to get rid of Facebook, that it was a complete waste of time. And now as it seems, Elon was right and Facebook was caught because of its own policies. After Mark Zuckerberg's recent ploy with the anti-competition laws, we can expect Twitter to jump on the ban ATT bandwagon. A techlash storm is brewing, and it's brewing quite dangerously. While America's antitrust laws may come in handy to drag Apple services down the drain, a much bigger emphasis is to avoid the next big information warfare. What's more concerning is the fact that user data has been weaponized on an international level for political objectives. The ultimate objective is crystal clear here. Apple is going to mandate Facebook to ask explicit permission from its users to bank on their personal data to churn its ad mill. And the feud has just started. And that's it for today.